Hey people, Bao here. Today we're reacting to Unbiased History, the Defenestrations of Prague. This is a YouTube video made by Dovahhatty. Once again, this is a YouTuber that we have reacted to before, which his last video was The Fall of Rome, which people had a really positive opinions about. It was a great conclusion to that series, and now as far as I can tell, and also from what I've seen on his Twitter feed, is that now he's just gonna kind of try to experiment a bit more, maybe focus on a mini-series, and that's all decided by his Patreons, you know, the people that support him financially, so that in the end we can enjoy the content that he creates. So he describes this episode that we're watching as a standalone experimental episode, a change of pace, and especially so because he himself drew almost all of the characters. So we should be expecting maybe a bit of an art style difference, maybe not, maybe we can notice it or not. That's going to be a thing that we're going to be looking at. And also this video was voted by the donators, which then will vote on what mini-series he will make in the future. And let me check the options: the early Byzantine Empire, the American Revolution, or the Old Testament. You know, obviously he is having his Patreons, donators, you know, people backing him up, decide what topics to talk about, which is a very good business move. It makes sense. So that's very cool to see. It has been a while since I've uploaded anything, especially with the world situation, lockdown feed 2, and everything else ongoing. It's been extremely hard to really find motivation to react to videos that I genuinely enjoy or want to learn more about. It's not just about react just for the sake of reacting. But you know, I just saw this video literally on my recommended, on my subscribers box as well, so I was like, okay, let's just get into this because you know, I have the time for it, and I feel like Dovahhatty's videos, especially now because it's a different topic, it's definitely interesting to kind of see. So, you know, before we start, obviously, subscribe if you like what I've been doing till now. Would be highly appreciated because I'm trying to meet my hobby goal of getting 1,000 subscribers. Would be very sick to reach that. We're still a distance away from it, but you know, it would be sick to kind of reach that and be very satisfied with completing a goal that I've literally set up for myself. You know, but beyond that, let's just get to the video. Let's go. And here we are. So, sorry, my nose. So, obviously, Unbiased History, the Defenestrations of Prague. I have no prior intel. I don't know anything about this topic, so I'm deep diving into this without any prior knowledge. What this could be about, like regarding like what's the history behind this. So this might be a little bit lackluster from me because I'm not an expert. I'm not an you know, an history teacher or something like that. But regardless, you know, once again, it's a work of parody. You know, this is his content. You know, obviously very important to read his disclaimer because you know, people shouldn't misunderstand for what it actually is. Anyways, so once again, the Defenestrations of Prague. Let's get right into it. Yeah,
Defenestration, the act of throwing someone through a window. It was yet another
Oh.
bleak day for John Hus, in a life already full of bleakness. Born a dirt-poor peasant in 15th century Bohemia, studying to be a priest seemed to show some promise in life, but all the Catholic Church had to offer was hypocrisy, corruption, and obedience to a decadent Medoid quasi-king in Rome. The Pope, or anti-Pope, hard to keep it straight, was again crusading against Christians, burning books that criticized him and demanding bribes to absolve sins, which all deeply disgusted Hus. Jean, excommunicated for saying the truth too loudly, became famous for preaching against all this corrupt and scriptural crap. All in Czech no less, teaching both Latin and the Vatican, acknowledging only Jesus Christ as a spiritual authority. So butthurt Hus made the papists that once the unholy German confederate had an ecumenical council going, they went for it. John Hus of course had been invited, and while taking a break from preaching against Catholicism to writing against Catholicism, he heard a knock on his door. It was the papists. He was under arrest. Thrown in chains in a dungeon for 73 days and put on trial with no right to a lawyer, Jan Hus refused to give in to Catholic demands, saying he would only recant if they proved that what he preached was unscriptural. Jan Hus was then burned at the stake, dying as he prayed away. And while Hus was dead, the Hussites had just been born. Those being Bohemians sympathetic to Jan Hus's teachings, among them another priest, Jan Żelivski. Just as popular as Hus, Żelivski used his fame to rally the Hussites of Prague into a mob, rallying them against Prague's town hall, that is, where papist elites had been imprisoning innocent Hussites for far too long. Being treacherous Catholic vermin, one of the council members threw a rock at Żelivski, right in the head. And as they all laughed about it, Żelivski broke through the town hall, took it over with his Hussite mob, and once he had all papists on the ground, he chose to keep them on the ground. The actual ground.
Oh no. There it is. Oh my god.
All councillors were defenestrated to their deaths, and when the King of Bohemia was informed, he was so taken aback he had a heart attack, and died too. Such is the tale of how the Hussite War started, with the first defenestration of Prague.
There's multiple.
60 years later, the Hussites have only grown stronger. The Catholic Church was as shit as ever, Bohemia had just come out of a war and found itself with a pro-Catholic king of all faiths. With the Hussites now duly represented in government, he drove the Catholic king so mad he had them all fired and replaced by Catholic shills. Among the purged Hussites were party members of the communion of both kinds, preaching the scriptural truth that both bread and wine were needed for communion. Refusing to let papist tyrants ruin their rituals, the Hussites revolted again, took over the local town hall, and after killing every last councillor except the mayor, they let precedent speak for itself.
Defenestration? Oh no. It's like a natural sport at that point then.
His appointees dead, and facing Hussite revolts left and right, the Bohemian king gave up, guaranteeing the Hussites religious freedom and equality to the Catholic dogs, at least in words. Czech intellectuals still debate over the officialness of this defenestration, since it sadly didn't plunge the papists into decades of brutal war, you see. After 2 centuries of Bohemian kings being made the Hussites' bitch, the then king had written the Letter of Majesty, officially codifying the Hussites' right to religious freedom and autonomy. But you see, the reason this particular king is so ugly is because he was a member of the Habsburg dynasty, a disgusting breed of humanoid creatures the Pope had inbred in a laboratory to shield Catholicism on Europe. Always loyal to the Vatican, the Habsburgs schemed to have the king succeeded by another one, who also bent over to the Hussites' demands. Regardless, being a defective prototype, he named his Catholic pig of a nephew, Ferdinand, to succeed him as king. In his papist arrogance, Ferdinand fully forbid the construction of all Hussite churches, already violating their rights. And when the Hussite lords went to their assembly to complain, led by the war veteran, Lord Fern, the sound of truth and righteousness so angered Ferdinand he had the assembly dissolved. To make it worse, the Hussites then learned of a letter sent to Catholic officials, proclaiming the lives of the Hussite lords to be forfeit, doomed to execution. Right after, Fern gathered the Hussite lords to meet with 4 prominent Catholic leaders in Bohemia, plus their secretary, Fabricius. Begrudgingly attending the meeting, the papist vermin were met by many indignated Hussite lords, who wanted to know which of them was a part of the plot against them. As they interrogated them, Fern proclaimed aloud, "As they intend to execute us, we came to the unanimous agreement we would stand firm, with all for one and one for all, against all difficulties." As the papists were questioned, incapable of any independent thought as they were, they begged to ask their superiors what to think and say, but they were denied. Eventually it became clear 2 of the papists knew nothing of value, and so were let go, leaving only the hardliners, one of which had stolen Fern's previous noble title. So arrogant they were that they straight up admitted guilty, that they had advised the king to put them to death, daring the Hussites to punish them. Because after all, what were they gonna do to important Catholic nobles?
Throw
Find
them out?
Imprison them?
No, throw them out of the window, mate. Please point at the window. Please point at the window. Oh, nah.
Yes, but I hear you ask. What happened to Fabricius, their secretary?
Probably a sign of position. Oh, okay, never mind.
The papist dogs survived though, they all did, having landed on a nearby dung heap. That is, a pile of horse shit. Papist propaganda would say angels saved them, but we know the shitty truth. For having survived the fall, Fabricius was honored by the unholy German confederate with the title Baron von Hohenfall, Baron of Highfall.
My
Here
God, what
starts
a
the 30 Years'
name.
War. 330 years later, in Bohemia, now Czechia plus Slovakia,
Yeah.
Jan Masaryk had a bleak night,
Chad.
and a life already full of bleakness. Not only had his country been invaded and taken over by Nazis some years ago, forcing the government in exile's foreign minister, him, to literally be foreign, but just as it got liberated, it was now being taken over by commies, with him being the only minister left who was not a commie. As he was about to take a shit in his apartment, someone knocked on his bathroom door.
Okay.
It was communists.
Oh. No. What? Okay. That was. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Go back, go back, go back. Sorry, that just automatically lined up. Sorry for that. My God. That is one of the most caught with my pants down because he's literally naked moments here. Jesus Christ. Okay. So that was Unbiased History, the Defenestrations of Prague, and now we know it's the act of throwing someone out of the window. So that's the main thing that I've definitely learned throughout this video. Um, Obviously, so first point first, what he said as well, change of pace and him drawing the characters. I want to address these 2 points just to kind of quickly give my opinion, what I think about it, and was it good, was it not good? I think the change of pace is very clear because it's a standalone episode, so the entire story is thrown into this one episode. There's no episode 2 of this. There's no prequel to this. It's its own thing, and you can definitely say because it's like really quick pace, which I think is good because uh, especially if you have like a lower attention span. Um, this is a good like kind of like here we go, this is how it went, this is how it ended, like a quick beginning, quick end, and that's it. I think art style wise, throughout the video you will definitely notice um, that the characters for me they look sharper in some sense. I think Dovahhatty, I don't know which specific characters he didn't do, but I think the more modified ones that have a little bit more, especially like the older ones, the chat ones, have a bit more facial structure to them. I feel like it is definitely enhanced. It's like putting RTX mode on. It shows more definition to their facial structure. And I think clothing wise as well, he made a really good job. And once again, it is with the other artist called Cute Akata. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but obviously shout out to that person as well. Last time as well deserves all the shout outs to contributing to the videos. Um, but yeah, the art was good. Once again, I think so. The change of pace is good. I think as a standalone, it was very nice to watch. So I will definitely add that as a point. The standalone itself had a nice quick pace to it, and it was quite clear. Hmm? Oh, it seems that we were slightly interrupted, so sorry for that. You will probably notice in the cutting that something just happened. But like I said, with the pace was very clear. I think once again, I think another plus point is the fact that there's more details on the characters, and especially their clothing is very defiant of what they are. I think he made it very clear throughout the episode. I think it was a really well done job by Dovahhatty and Cute Akita, sorry, um, on like how they made the characters. And oh my god, the Habsburg. Once again, it's just a perfect example of the most inbred dynasty ever. Because once again, it is the classic dynasty that's always spoken about if we're speaking about like European history and especially like medieval times and so on, like in those era where it's like they they have really gone the path of no return. And I feel like especially probably some examples here and there, but the examples of how they look like, it's just terrifying. I haven't really seen any like examples in the history books of like how they actually looked like, but you know, if they look anywhere similar to how Dovahhatty depicted them, it's either a good compliment or it's the worst nightmare ever. But regardless, I think the two major points here, once again, he said about, change of pace. I agree. I like the change of pace. I think it fits with a standalone episode. So, I think that was well done as an experiment. Secondly, the art is more detailed. It's still very clean, like the same quality, but it's more detailed. It's like I'm increasing my video quality settings from like high to very high. Like you see those like little details here and there, clothing wise as well. Um, I think, like, obviously, like, story-wise, um, once again, this is like a situation where you do have to be historically aware of how this actually, like, went through to kind of compare to how he depicts it, because in the end, it's a parody. So it was a bit hard for me to understand it in that case. But I think the main point of like, the defenestration, like what does it mean, how was it done, why was it done, is very clear. So I want to say with that, even for someone that's not very well informed or has a lot of knowledge, I think this video was very clear to the point. I think I want to add that to um, to the pointers, the feedback pointers right there. Um, Beyond that, I don't have anything else to add. I think it was just a solid standalone episode. Um, Once again, I'm very curious to see uh, the Patreons. If any of you are watching, I'm very curious to see what miniseries would you like to see from Dovahhatty? Because once again, he mentioned the early Byzantine Empire, the American Revolution, or the Old Testament. Personally, I would be up for the early Byzantine Empire more than anything else out of the three options. Uh, I would be interested in that, and I would like to see kind of like how he develops the art style that he has now gained a little bit or practice with. How is he gonna implement that a bit more into like a mini series format instead of like now the standalone? Um, yeah. Beyond that, Dovahhatty is so close to 100k. He's 4k subscribers away from it. So I genuinely hope he can, like, kind of with this video, maybe with another video next month, if he's planning one. Um, I hope he can get to that just for the end of 2020. Regardless, the man deserves it. So we should be expecting this to happen regardless. Um, but yeah, score-wise, what did I think of this standalone episode? Um, like, change of pace, appreciated. The art style, enhanced. It's more detailed. It's nice. It's not out of place. It's very good. Um, it's a good, quick story. Like, even if not well informed about what this exactly is about, it's still clear to the point. Maybe some terms, some events are a bit hard to like understand while you're watching immediately, but I think with a rewatch or two, you can kind of get more in depth with it. Um, but yeah, with that said, I would just give this an. I don't know what I gave the Fall of Rome episode, but I would give this like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I think it's just a very solid episode, and I think definitely for a standalone experiment, I would say the experiment is a success. I feel like it's a very successful thing that he has done, and I think he has proven that he himself is able to put these characters here with the beautiful Minecraft environment and show a very nice story, or at least visualize a story that he is talking about. Um, there was also like something about this microphone change.
Town Hall, that is, where papist elites had been imprisoning innocent Hussites for far too long.
I do feel like is there a microphone change? I'm not sure. Regardless, thank you very much for watching the video. If you're still here, you're probably like the 5% that's still watching. Regardless, please subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, I'm trying to reach 1k subscribers as a personal goal. Would be very sick. And yeah, thank you for watching overall. This was Bao Bao, and have a very nice goodbye.